Welcome to the Caleb Kalev podcast, or I don't know if that's what it's going to be called. I suppose that's what it's going to be called. For most people, creating, especially guys my age, white guys my age, creating a podcast is a call for help. This is definitely not a call for help. It's more so me just understanding the fact that I am slow at editing. That's primarily what it is. And so this podcast is a way for me to get out of editing. You know, what's crazy is the fact that people will spend hours editing a commentary YouTube video. And, you know, they'll talk about the same things that they would in a podcast. All you have to do with podcasts, it's the greatest. It's the new wave on YouTube, okay? With a podcast, you just get to have an entire commentary video and just slap on the name podcast on there. You don't have to edit it. You don't have to do it. It's amazing. The technology, the advancement, as far as content on the YouTube platform is astounding. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a podcast because I've realized that the purpose that I set out for with this channel was to just push stuff out onto the internet. Push fecal matter out onto the internet, if you will. I never had the intention of making anything good or trying to, you know, curate like something truly exquisite. I just wanted to put stuff out there because I enjoyed making it. And so that's the idea with this. And I feel like over the course of very few videos that I've actually made, I've gotten into this routine of like overthinking and then not over editing. I don't edit that video as much, but I spend a long time editing and then I find out that I come to hate what I had been creating. And so yeah, that was just really weighing me down from uploading. And so I decided that I wanted to create a podcast so they can minimize the amount of editing that I've been doing. Hello, by the way, since my last video. It's been a really long time since my last video, or filming my last video. I've gotten a haircut since then, if you can't tell. I didn't address it probably in the last video that you saw due to the fact that, I don't know, it was just a different video, so I wasn't going to address it. Not that it's something that needs to be addressed. But yeah, so basically this podcast is just for me to push stuff out onto the internet. Because I feel like it. This podcast isn't going to be heavily edited. I'll edit here and there. Like if I'm just quiet for 30-40 seconds, you know, I'll cut that out. But other than that, yeah, I'll try to spend as little time on the production value of these as possible. What am I saying? You know, I spent how many minutes just a second ago, you know, setting up a mic and a camera and spent way more time over analyzing, how should it be? How should it not be? And none of it mattered. 'Cause what? 3 people are so who cares, you know? For the literally one person that is maybe new here and hasn't seen my stuff before, I don't know, I assume I'm gonna like, it's kind of cringe, but I'll like shout this out on TikTok or something. I don't know. But for that one person, what's up? My name's Caleb. And I like making videos sometimes, occasionally. I am almost 20 years old. It physically pains me to say that. Like, honestly, physically pains me. And I have no idea what I'm doing. But I really, really enjoy making videos. So that's what I'm doing here. Real quick, I would like to preface kind of this entire podcast saying, like, you know, some of the things that I'll talk about, that I'll joke about, not everyone's going to think it's funny. Some people may find it a little bit offensive. I don't think I'm that offensive, but some people may find it offensive, and I just want to say that go screw. No, no, I just want to say that it's like, you know, humor is a coping mechanism, right? So making jokes about something is not denoting the fact that you have no respect for the sadness of that situation or that tragedy, but rather it's a way to process it and not allow the emotional burden from that event to decapacitate you. I think that's what humor is all about, right? It's like, it's a way to move forward through the sad things in life. So, you know, for humor, for myself personally, I don't see anything as being off limits. I don't think that there is anything that you cannot joke about. I choose, there's certain things I choose not to joke about for my, moral or religious beliefs. But that's me. That's me choosing not to joke about them. I'm not going to go out and say to someone else, some comedian out there, not comparing myself to a comedian, but go to some person out there and you can't make jokes about that. I may not, want to be, in the room for a prolonged amount of time while they're making those jokes, but I'm not going to say, oh, you shouldn't be able to joke about that. You don't have the right to be able to joke about that. I think you can joke about anything. There are just certain things that specifically for me that I may not joke about. And I understand if there's other things that other people don't want to joke about. But again, that's like, those restrictions are ones that you have made with your own mind. They're not, ultimate truth. They're not part of the fabric of reality that you cannot joke about this, So yeah. That's the show. Guys, that's the trigger warning. That's the trigger warning for this podcast. If you're gonna get triggered, I don't know yeah. That's it. And that, I don't have it out for anyone. I don't hate everyone. I believe it's important to love everyone, but just because you love someone, or a group of people, or everyone in general, doesn't mean you're not going to make jokes about stuff. And definitely doesn't, mean you're not going to make jokes about the tragedies that those people are living through. You're still going to make jokes about them. Or I still will, probably. Yeah. All right, so just jumping right into the thought of the day for the podcast. Okay, it's coming. Are you ready here for it? R. Kelly is the hot dog of R&B music. Now, you may be asking yourself, what in the world does that mean? And trust me, I was confused by it at first as well. R. Kelly is the hot dog of R&B music. Why is that? Everyone loves hot dogs, right? They're tasty, they're savory. Not vegans don't like hot dogs. Maybe there's vegan hot dogs, Anyway, everyone eats hot dogs. They think they taste great. And then they figure out how they're made. Now, after you have figured out how a hot dog is made, you are suddenly confronted with the inner turmoil of deciding, can I eat hot dogs now? Okay? So, everyone likes R. Kelly, right? Suddenly they find out, who is this guy? Now they're deciding, okay, can I like this guy's music? Which, my personal opinion, person's music and other stuff, totally separate. R. Kelly, undoubtedly one of the most popular R&B singers of all time. His career is going incredibly, and then all this stuff comes out, and people are suddenly like, yeah, I don't know if we can listen to R. Kelly anymore. R. Kelly, the hot dog of R&B music. This dude, how did this man ever get into this? Surely people knew, right? It's not like, oh, just no one knew. It's like, yeah, I'm minding my business. Am I peeing on, underage girls? Yeah, maybe. But it's I believe I can fly. I believe I can. It's charming, yeah? Dude, the lyrics in his songs are oftentimes so explicit. I mean, is there a reason that we didn't expect this? Who was R. Kelly fooling here? Who is the fool in this situation? I don't know. Anyway, this dude, so popular, so incredibly successful. He was like, think about it, how many the record deals he had, multi-billion dollar organizations, record companies were signing this guy, endorsing this guy. he was performing at massive stadiums. Millions of people would see him a year, performing or whatever. He performed at football games, bro. Speaking of football games, the Super Bowl, yeah, Super Bowl happened. That's pretty fun. Who was I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I'm not super into football. I have a lot of respect for the people that put that much time into it, to become successful, and to be proficient in this sport. Not a super big fan, just didn't grow up with it. But I did see a YouTube video in my recommended of, what is it? Shakira and Jennifer Lopez doing the halftime show. Not gonna lie, it made me uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable watching that. It was a show. I'm not throwing shade. These people spent hours, practice incredibly hard to, be able to put on this incredible performance. They have spent years, training their vocals, doing training every day for this moment. Just saying. Little bit uncomfortable. Little bit uncomfortable. The amount of twerking that happened on that stage, fam. It's insane. But, okay, listen, I'm not, it makes me uncomfortable, but I'm not entirely judging, right? Why? How much were Jennifer Lopez and Shakira paid for this Super Bowl halftime? Bro, so much money. Okay, so, as I have been before and probably will be many times again, I'm wrong. I was wrong. I just looked it up. They did not get paid for their performance whatsoever. Shakira and Jennifer Lopez weren't paid to perform the 2020 Super Bowl halftime show, but their roughly 15-minute set is paying off. So, essentially, they don't get paid for the Super Bowl performance, which, bro, that is an incredible deal for the Super Bowl. Just, world-class musicians, world-class performers, they just, come and it's nah, we're not gonna pay you. We're not gonna pay you. And Shakira and Jennifer Lopez are like, yeah, chill, okay, cool. They pay, okay, so I think, J-Lo, Jennifer Lawrence, gets $2.2 million for each performance on tour, according to Forbes, and Shakira rakes in $1.6 million per performance on tour, but they weren't even paid for the Super Bowl show themselves. So essentially how this entire thing works, apparently, according to what I'm reading here, this is Market Watch, I guess, by the way, the spike in album and song sales or streams or whatever in after the Super Bowl performance is so incredibly high that it's still worthwhile for them to do it for free. In other words, they're getting paid in exposure, which isn't that what the companies, all the small whatever influencers, that's how they screwed them over. It's you're getting paid in exposure. That's what Jake Paul says. You guys, I'm taking 20% of you. I'm taking 20% of you guys, but you're getting exposure. You're getting paid in exposure, guys. It's fine. It's not slave labor. It's not. You're in my videos. You are the actors in my vlog. You're not getting paid. It's not slave labor. It's not. I'm just imagining, chained up in the back room. Please, Jake, let me out. You're not getting let out. You didn't make out with the Team 10 members long enough. Did you hear? You were only at a 7 decibel scream when I threw the cockroaches on you. You needed to be at least a 12 to get your lunch today. Oh, please, Jake, please, let me out. Anyway, slave labor. So apparently, J-Lo and Shakira are not getting paid for the Super Bowl performance whatsoever, but they get paid in exposure. So, okay, there's some metrics here that I'm going to read off. As a result of Jennifer Lopez's and Shakira's performance, the songs that were performed in that halftime show, collectively rose 1,013% in sales, according in the U.S. The single sold 16,000 digital downloads altogether just on Sunday, which is up from 1,000 collectively. When Lady Gaga did the 2017 halftime show, her album sales jumped up 1,980%, almost 2,000%, bro. So despite the fact that Shakira and Jennifer Lopez are not getting paid for the 2020 halftime show, this is going to result in a multi-million-dollar increase of income for the both of them. Okay, so back to the I'm uncomfortable thing. It makes me uncomfortable watching that much twerking on just me. It's just me, guys. I know that a lot of people my age not uncomfortable with it at all. It's like, yeah. I mean, they probably, whatever. I was going to say they want to see someone their own age twerking on stage, but whatever. Just me personally, I'm uncomfortable. But if I knew that I was going to get $3.2 million of increased album sales, you see me out there twerking my freaking head off, bro. My goodness, I'm telling you right now, do not tell me that you're not going to be out twerking on stage in front of whatever, the X amount of millions of people for $3.2 million. I realize it's relative because, their net worths are so high already. But maybe it's $10 million. It's in the multi-millions of dollars, and this is going to have a lasting impact on their career, right? I would be twerking so hard, bro. So hard for that. And you know what? People will say, oh, that's shady. That's shameful. People have done a lot worse for, $3 million, okay? I mean, people commit tax fraud for that kind of money. People commit murder for that kind of money. Listen, people would go out and kill their child for $3.2 million. So you're telling me that you are going to be upset that someone goes out and twerks on a stage. And again, I'm talking to myself here. I'm going to be upset that someone goes out and twerks on a stage for $3.2 million, but there are people out there going out for $3.2 million and committing fraud. They're going and killing people. The orphans in Africa, screw them. I get $3.2 million. I don't know why I'm using 3.2. It's whatever, between $1 and $10 million. I'm just saying, there could be a lot worse things that people are doing for $3 million. Okay? I'm telling you, I'm just imagining if lawyers, if the stockbrokers on Wall Street had a good butt, you would see them out on the Superbowl halftime field just twerking away. I'm seeing this dude, this fat 70-year-old man in a suit, just going out and just letting the fupa fly. Letting the fupa fly, baby. Just going out, just busting it down on the Super Bowl football field. This dude, for the money, baby. This fat man on Wall Street busting it down on the NFL football field in his suit. The pants start to rip. If they could, they would, okay? Do not doubt. If people commit tax fraud for $3 million, people twerk on the Super Bowl halftime show for $3 million. If they could. They don't have I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man. They don't have the facilities for that. But if they could, they would, okay? If they could, they would. Yeah, but I don't know. I hate to, boil the entire halftime show down just to these people are twerking on stage. Obviously it's more than that. I understand that, okay? It's kind of a little more than that. But no, these guys, these people, these ladies, have spent years of their life, think about just how many hours they spent doing the rehearsals just for this performance, right? But they spend years of their life not only doing the vocal exercises, not only doing all the dance moves, they're doing the exercising to have, the whatever, the figure, the confidence to be able to go up there and do that. I was just watching, I looked at a picture of Jennifer Lopez. That is a 50-year-old woman right there. That is not the face of a 50-year-old woman, okay? I don't know how they do it. Obviously, people are talking all the time. That's like a thing that people talk about, that people care about. Like, oh, the celebrities, how they stay so young. That's a thing. But that is not the face of a 50-year-old woman, okay? I don't know what people have done to be able to stay. That's like 30. That's like 35, bro, max. Yeah, I don't know what people do to be able to stay looking that young for so long. I mean, there's plenty of things. There's cosmetic surgeries, I guess, right? People can, there's moisturizing skincare routines. Just freaking taking up ground up babies and just rubbing it all over. That's how they do it. They grind up the orphans and just freaking splathering that face in Vaseline. Heavy duty moisturizer. Just get the crude oil on there. It's better than the... That's why the crude oil face. Bro, I guarantee you they're going to come out in Hollywood. Crude oil face masks. Yeah, but there's tons of things that people can do. Another thing that I was reading about the other day, I was reading some article and they were talking about like how important it is to be wearing sunscreen. To, make sure your face skin isn't getting damaged by the ultraviolet rays. And that's one thing that celebrities do to whatever, stay looking young. And then basically what the article went on to say was like, you know what? Don't hedge your bet. Don't risk it. Just don't go outside. It's fine. Don't go outside. You can never be too safe. If you want to have good skin, just don't go outside. And then they went on to talk about the fact that, like, besides just the aspect of, ultraviolet radiation outside, being outside in the sun, there's like pollution in the air or whatever, right? That's a thing that we have to deal with now in modern society. And they're like, you know what? Just don't go outside. You're fine. That's not a big deal. Just don't go outside because there's pollutants in the air. Oh my goodness. I'm thinking about people in Hollywood, these chicks in Hollywood being like, I'm not going to get outside. I don't want to hurt my skin by, from the pollution in the air. And then there are people in the Wuhan province of China. It's like, bitch, you're not going outside so you don't mess up. You're not going outside for fine lines in your skin. We're not going outside because we don't want to get the coronavirus, bro. That's an entire thing. Coronavirus is a thing. Obviously, the first thing, that comes to mind, the first, like, whatever, the first joke that people always make, it's like, coronavirus? Oh, just put a lime in it. Guys, they're overreacting. So just put a lime in it. It's fine. These Chinese are just overhyped about it. It's not that big of a deal. Just put a lime in it. It's okay. I don't understand what the big deal is. It's not like, you and your children, your family are going to die or anything. Because you can die. These chicks in Hollywood staying inside to reduce fine lines. And people be out in China staying inside because they want to live. It's like, fine lines. Have you tried death? So there's that. The Wuhan virus, why do they call it coronavirus? That's my question. The Wuhan, maybe it's like, whoa, Wuhan virus. It sounds too exciting, right? But corona sounds like, that's a good time. That's exciting too. I don't know. Obviously, it's like a sad time that, anyone is dying from any serious disease. But I was looking up the other day, the statistics, the death rates of those who are, in China dying of the coronavirus. What is the coronavirus death toll up to now? It's something like 300. It'll probably be higher by the time I'm posting this. But let's look. Corona. Okay, so here we have it. Mr. Xi sent Premier Li Qiang, I don't know how to pronounce that name, I apologize, to Wuhan more than a week ago when the death toll stood at 106. By Tuesday, the toll in China rose to 420 deaths. 400, wow, they're people are sitting down in the living rooms, they're glued to the TV. Death toll in China, in the Wuhan province. This just in, the death toll, except it's in Mandarin, right? This just in, the death toll has rose to 420. You know what that means. And, there's like two dudes sitting on the couch like, yeah, it means we got lit. Some of you are probably going to say that this is so, Caleb, how dare you? How dare you joke about this? And first of all, chillax, okay? It's a coping mechanism to deal with tragedy. We all know that. We all know that the humor is a mechanism created by humans to be able to, deal with the unthinkably sad or tragic or terrible. So it's part of life, okay? Second of all, what's the real travesty here? Me making a couple of jokes about coronavirus, or the news agencies that are clickbaiting the tragedy, the deaths of these people so hard, bro. Clickbaiting them so hard. You know that these people on CNN see, or whatever, Fox News, whoever, they see the death toll, the death rise in China from the Wuhan virus, and like, oh, paycheck time, baby. That's what's happening here in these newsrooms. They're like, these people are dying while our bank accounts are multiplying. That's all they're seeing here. They have some kind of illusion of, we're so sad, and then the background like, hey, guess who's getting a new yacht? They're partying, bro. It's disgusting. It's think I'm bad. They're the ones, clearly, who are in the wrong here, okay? And the fact is that the Wuhan virus, the coronavirus, is not even one of the most deadly viruses, that's going on right now. The total deaths from influenza but let's look at Ebola first. Ebola. Total deaths from Ebola. Okay. It's coming up here. The impact this epidemic has had on the world, talking about Ebola, and particularly West Africa, is significant. The total of 28,616 cases of EVD and 11,310 deaths. So out here, we have, Ebola, which in its time, it was a big deal. No one's talking about it now, except for, people making memes or something. 11,000 people died from Ebola. Back when there was 200 people that had died from Ebola, I don't think people were making as big of a deal about the Wuhan virus, but that's because it's level of priorities, right? It's level of privilege. The people in Africa, who cares? Now, Asians, they have money. So that's a travesty. It's sad, honestly. It's sad. But, bro, they're clickbaiting it so hard. What's the total deaths from flu worldwide? From 647,000 people were hospitalized. 61,200 people died. That total is just in the U.S. alone. 61,200 people. So 61,200 people died in the U.S. of the flu. Who cares? 420 people in the Wuhan province die. And international news. No one's talking about the 61,000 people that died of the flu. But the Wuhan virus, that has clickbait potential, And then let's look at people who've died of AIDS. In 2018, around 770,000 people died from AIDS-related illnesses worldwide. Okay, so 770,000 compared to 1.7 million in 2004. So that's a lot more. And 1.2 million in 2010. So we're out here. We have people with AIDS just dropping off, bro. Dropping down by the thousands. The thousands, bro. And we're like, yeah, screw them. You know what? They're gay. Who cares? that's what they're in like Congress, and it's like, excuse me, Chief Chamber, Chief, what's the dude's name? Excuse me, Chief Chairman of the Senate. There's an epidemic of AIDS. Lots of people are dying around the world. In the U.S., hundreds of thousands of people are dying. And the chairman's like, it's chill. It's chill. They're gay. They're gay anyway. It's fine. They're gay. Screw them. And then there's some people in China. And then, again, I'm not in for this entire mentality of like, oh, it's like screw people who aren't in our country. I'm very much so against that, and thinking that somehow the U.S. is more important than any other country or whatever. But people in China are dying by the tens, by the hundreds, from a virus called the coronavirus. They're like, this just in, this is important. Screw the gay people, but the Asians, the Asians have money, right? Asians matter. Unlike the gays, nah, we're good. We're gonna die they have AIDS. They're gonna die in a couple years anyway. They're straight kids. They're gonna inherit their money. It's fine. I suppose that's like the levels of like privilege, right? You've got the Asians who have the most privilege, not the, but whatever. You've got gays up here, nobody cares. You've got anyone old who's dying from an influenza, they're fine, nobody cares. You've got people in Africa, a little bit of caring, and then people in coronavirus, that very important. Point is, it shouldn't just be the people, the Asians with money, who matter. Not inferring. I'm sure there's plenty of impoverished regions in the Wuhan province. Plenty of people who don't have money. But let's care about everyone who's dying. And you know what? Frankly, 10% of the world population growth is 1.2 million a year, right? So until 1.2 million die, more people die than normal. Obviously, it's a tragedy, but we don't need to get all bent out of shape about it. It's not going to affect the world on a global scale if, total deaths don't exceed population growth for a given year. It's going to be fine. Sad, but okay. I feel like that's the thing, like a summary of a Billie Eilish album. Sad, but it's okay. Okay. So yeah, in summary, let's not get bent out of shape. Let's, treat everyone's life, like it's important, but not that important. Not news important, okay, guys? No, but seriously, yeah, I think that's it. Love the people that are, close to you. Tell them that you love them and stuff. And yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this podcast. It's not good. Again, the thing, the objective is just to get stuff out there. Get feces out onto the internet, because it doesn't have enough of that. Yeah. But anyway, anyone who actually listened or watched this, wow. An accomplishment. Thank you very much for listening to my ramblings. Yeah, so I think that's about it. See you next time. And remember that influenza is abortions for old people.